Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name's Bethany. I sell millions and millions of dollars of real estate every single year in the GTA. And today I'm going to talk about how to screen your tenants for your investment property. Now, calm down. Not all tenants are bad, okay? I have done this. I understand it's never foolproof. However, I'm going to show you my tried and true tips and tricks on how to do this so that you can get the best tenant for your investment property. Let's get into it. If you don't know me, I sell tons and tons of real estate to my clients in the Greater Toronto area, and I do screen tenants. I only represent landlords on rental deals. I don't really represent tenants, and I'm going to show you kind of what my process looks like when I'm screening a tenant who is making an application to rent out one of my clients' investment properties. So first things first is we always get it up on the MLS. We may put it on third-party websites as well, but I find that I prefer to work with tenants who have an agent who is representing them. Once we get it up there, I put within the description that they have to provide a credit report, letter of employment, pay stubs, and then sometimes we need other supporting documentation. Now, I just rented out one of my clients' properties, whereas she was happily renting it for, I think, $2,000, the entire property, upper and lower. And unfortunately, the tenant had passed away. So after a little bit of time and after some renovations, she called me and decided that she wanted to lease it out again. And we decided to lease out the upper to one family and then the lower to another tenant. So on a property that she was previously leasing out for $2,000, we were able to get her $2,950 on top and $1,950 on the lower unit. So what we do is after we get the property up on the MLS, and we start getting offers, we start evaluating the tenants. So the first thing that I do is I will look at the rental application to determine, what is their monthly income and what kind of, monthly debts they have. And I'm really concerned about like cars per se. Those can be significant financial obligations. And on top of that, I try to get an idea as to whether this person is a delivery driver or not. For the most part, I try to get families, couples. We don't like to lease out to a bunch of bachelors or a bunch of bachelorettes. For the most part, we try to find families who are just looking for somewhere to get settled when we're in the freehold space. Now, if I have a condo downtown, then I'm typically looking for like young professionals. And on the rental application, we can see where they work. So I will look up the proximity of their job to the property. I will look up the clients as well to see if they have a LinkedIn profile, to see how many connections they have. I'm always trying to verify that the information that they had provided to me is true and accurate. That's my number one goal. So if they provide to me, okay, this is my HR manager, this is the HR manager's phone number, I may take it a step further and just look up online the HR department and check another phone number to see if they match up, right? There's a lot of fraud happening, obviously, in our city. It is very, very difficult to get a rental, so I don't blame anybody, especially if you're a black or brown person. It can be very, very difficult. So sometimes people resort to fraudulent tactics, but my job when I'm representing my landlord is to always look out for their best interests. So that's why I kind of will go this way and I'll verify things differently. After that, I will look at their credit report. So I look at it to make sure that it makes sense. Now, it may surprise you, but a bad credit score doesn't automatically disqualify a tenant. We had a family reach out to one of our properties. It was a fully detached house, 3,000 square feet. It was a couple with a 3-year-old and then the grandmother. And the grandmother had absolutely horrible credit score, like in the 400s. But after looking at the credit report and analyzing it, we could determine that her credit score was so low because she had an outstanding balance on a Capital One Visa that was about $26. So she didn't have quite an understanding as to why that card was so low. So in that case, we were actually able to give her some advice. And we were like, hey, you should pay this off. It will really help you, because we could see that it was delinquent. And then the son as well, his credit wasn't too bad, but we could see that the bills were being paid, but he was using a lot of his credit utilization. And the reason why was because he was a young father and he had his wife there and a young daughter. So having that security that the payments were being made satisfied my clients. And those clients actually were wealth advisors themselves. So, you know, they had confidence that they would be able to pay, and they wanted to kind of help out this young family, even though their credit wasn't that great, but the income was strong. We could verify that the employment was close to the property, and we had full confidence, especially when people have young children. Typically, they're just looking for somewhere to get settled and to, you know, create their life. So that's what we do. Now, there are other third-party companies out there that you can use to help screen your tenants. Another thing that may surprise you is that as investors and landlords, I am never opposed to a tenant who is getting government funded income, whether that's under the Canadian housing benefit, whether that's under disability, whatever it is. The way that I look at it is that it's guaranteed rent payments. And sometimes, in some cases, you can even connect with that tenant's caseworker with the government and request to have those rent payments paid directly from the government. And I always tell my landlords to never be opposed to this, because this could be very beneficial. Then we don't have to chase anybody down. Last but not least, there is a website called Open Room. On Open Room, you can search up a tenant's name to see if they have any pending court orders with the landlord and tenant board. I always use this website. Now, I don't really use third-party softwares and websites, but I always use Open Room. I think it's really important to see if there is a pending case with the LTB. Luckily, I have not come across anybody personally, but that is really an excellent resource for any landlords out there. As you are evaluating tenants, just pop their name into Open Room and see if they have any pending cases. Now, I also have a really great legal team that I work with called Mayfair Law, and they actually handle landlord and tenant cases. One of the few law offices in Toronto that do handle them really well. So if you do need a recommendation, you can book a one-on-one consultation through the link in the description below, or leave a comment, and I'd be happy to connect you with my legal team who are experts at this. If you found value in this video, please like and subscribe. And if there's any other topics you want me to touch on, just leave those in the comments. But otherwise, thank you for watching.